Good afternoon, dear students. Let's start today's lecture from lexicology. So, now students, the theme of today's lesson is morphological structure of the word. Now, first of all, let's introduce the outlines of today's theme. So, the first outline, word and morpheme. And the second one is what's a morpheme? And the third one is types of the morpheme. The fourth one is what's the affix? And the last one is types of affixes. So, first of all, what is a morpheme? Morphemes defined as the smallest indivisible two-faced language units. Most of the students are confused. What does it mean, the two-faced language units? So, as you see, students, the morphemes can be meaningful and meaningless. For example, the word teacher. Here, this word consists of two morphemes. Teach is a root morpheme. This is meaningful. And ER, here, non-root morpheme. And this is meaningless. So that the morphemes is smallest two-faced language unit. There is a difference between morphemes and words. Now, students, let's see the difference between morphemes and word. So, word has a particular meaning. So, for example, the word teacher has its own meaning. This is a person who teaches the students. And morphemes also particular meaning, but sometimes, as I mentioned, morphemes can be meaningless also, like ER here, the meaningless. And the next one, word has particular sound form. So here the word, for example, board, here the sound form is B, O, and D, or in American version, B-O-R-D. And morpheme has also the particular sound form and capable of particular, and morpheme cannot be autonomous. So students, as you see, word has its particular meaning. So word functions independently, but morphemes sometimes cannot be independently, and it only adds at the end of or at the beginning of the words. So it cannot be autonomous sometimes. The next one, words able to form sentences. So as you see, students, the sentences include consists of some words. For example, I go to school. My teacher is coming. Here the sentence my teacher is coming consists of four words like my and teacher is and coming. And morphemes not divisible into meaningful part. Yes, sometimes the morphemes cannot be divisible into meaningful parts. Now let's move on to the next type. So, the classification of morphemes. So students, the morphemes classified into different point of view. So now as you see, the first one. So morphemes classified into a semantic point of view and a structural point of view. According to the semantic point of view, morphemes can be root morpheme and non-root morpheme. What's a root morpheme? Root morphemes are lexical center of a word. Non-root morpheme include inflectional morpheme and affixational morpheme. Okay, what is so Now let's take one of the word and analyze this one. For example, the word useless. Here the word use is a root morpheme and less is a non-root morpheme. Root morpheme has its own meaning, so it's considered as a lexical center of the word. But non-root morpheme doesn't have its own meaning. It can be is added at the end of the word. And non-root morpheme are divided into two groups, inflectional morpheme and affixational morpheme. For example, in the inflectional morpheme, students, inflectional morphemes is added at the end of this word, and the inflectional morpheme only add the grammatical meaning of the word, not the lexical meaning of the word. For example, students, teaches. So here the teach is root morpheme, but as is a non-root morpheme. Teach is a verb and teaches also is a verb. As you see, it only changes the grammatical form of this verb. And in modern English, there are 8 inflectional morpheme, 8 inflections. So they are the plural form of nouns. I mean the number category, like S, for example, boy, boys. The S for the tense, for example, in the present simple tense, like play, plays. Here S is the third person singular form in the present simple. And apostrophe S, this is the inflection of the possessive case. For example, boy's book or the boy's book. The next one, ed. As you see, this is the inflection of past participle to or inflection of past tense. ing, this is inflection of gerund. For example, play, playing. So the next one, en, this is inflection of past participle 3. For example, eat, ate, eaten. And the next one is some inflections of the grammatical category of adjectives, like, for example, the grammatical category of comparative degree, like, for example, er, yeah, big, bigger, large, larger, like that. Or inflection of the grammatical category of superlative degree, like est, big, biggest, or large, largest, like that. So as you see, students, they are all of them the inflections. And the next one, the derivational morphemes. So students, the derivational morphemes, they change the lexical and grammatical meaning of the word. For example, students, let's take the word decide. So decide, for example, decision. Here the morpheme shin change the lexical and grammatical meaning of the word. As we see, the decide is a verb, but decision is a noun. Or teach, teacher. Teacher is a verb, but teacher is a noun. Okay, so this is a type of morphemes according to their semantic point of view. So according to their meaning. The next type, so the classification of the morphemes according to the structural point of view. So according to the structural point of view, students, morphemes can be divided into 3 groups: free morphemes, bound morphemes, and semi-bound morphemes. Free morphemes is a morpheme, so it just coincides one stem or a form or a word form And a great many root morphemes are free morphemes. So free morphemes has its own meaning, students. For example, behave. Behave. This is the one free morpheme. And the bound morpheme occurs only as a constituent part of a word. Affixes are naturally, affixes and inflections are naturally bound morphemes. And for they always make part of a word. The suffixes nes, for example, sheep, as, or prefixes an, im, are, ear, they are bound morphemes. And the next type is the semi-bound morphemes. So sometimes we are confused when we differentiate the semi-bound morphemes, because the semi-bound morphemes are morphemes that can function in a morphemic sequence both as an affix and as a free morpheme. For example, the word sleep well. Here the word well is a function as a word, but when we say well done, well educated, here well is a bound. Or the word half. For example, half an hour. Here, student, the half an hour, half is functioned as a word, but when we say half done, here the word half is not an independent word. This is the bound morpheme. So they are called semi-bound or semi-free morphemes, students. Okay, so let's the next one. According to the number of morphemes, word classified into monomorphic and polymorphic. In the monomorphic or root words consists of only one root. For example, small, dog, decide, teach, they are monomorphic words because they only consist of only one root. The next one, polymorphic words consists of more than one root. For example, unseparable. As you see, students, in this word consists of three morphemes like un, separate, and able. Or the word truthful. This word consists of three morphemes like truth and full. They consist of three morphemes. So the next one, types of affixes. So students, there are four types of affixes. Suffix, prefix, infix, and semi-affix. Now, first of all, let's speak about the suffix. So suffix, to tell the truth, suffix and prefix are common in modern English. Infix and semi-affix are not common in the modern English. So suffix, they are the derivational morphemes, and suffix follows the stem or a root. For example, let's look this word, heart, heartless. Here, heart is a root morpheme and less is a non-root morpheme. And here, less is a derivational suffix. So students, suffix can be also inflectional. The next one, prefix. Prefix can be derivational and they stands before the root or stem. For example, im, il, an, this, sub. For example, let's see someone. Ill, for example, legal, illegal. Happy, unhappy. Possible, impossible. They are all of them prefix. So the differences between the prefix and suffix, prefix follows the before the root, and they are always derivational. suffix follows after the root, and they can be derivational and inflectional. And the next one, students, the infix. Infix is placed within the word. For example, to, as, word. Students, or the next type is a semi-affix. They are occupied in the intermediate position between roots and affix, like well done, half ready, like that. Okay, so students, now let's take some words and analyze these words according to their semantic and the structural point of view. Okay, now let's take the words. Here, for example, now the word unseparable. As I mentioned, this word consists of 3 morphemes, and this is polymorphemic word. And if we analyze this word according to the semantic point of view, so the word unseparable, here the separate is a root morpheme, un and able is a derivational non-root morpheme. According to structural point of view, this word also consists of 3 morphemes. Here the separate is free morpheme, un is bound morpheme, but able is semi-bound or semi-free morpheme. Why able is semi-bound or semi-free morpheme? Because students, the word able is also functioned as a word. For example, I can able to write. And the word truthful. So the truth is a root morpheme, full is a non-root morpheme, according to semantic point of view. According to the structural point of view, truth is free morpheme and full is a bound morpheme. So, okay, now let's analyze the word well done. So here, students, the word well done is polymorphemic word, and here, according to the semantic point of view, both of the word, well done, here done is the main root, and well is a half root here. And according to the structural point of view, here, well is a semi-bound or semi-free morpheme, and done is a free morpheme. Okay, so students, today in our lecture, we discuss the compound, we discuss the morphological structure of the word. So the morphological structure of the word consists of the morphemes. So morphemes are the smallest two-faced language units, and there are different types of the morphemes according to the different point of view, like semantic and the structural point of view. And in our lesson, we also learn the types of the affixes and their position in the words. And we also learn the differentiation between the word and morphemes. So I think you will understand all of the things here. If you have any questions, please text me via the Telegram, and please do the task via the Moodle. You have some tests, do this test, okay? So I think everything is clear for you. Goodbye, students. Thank you very much for today's participation.